Hello. Are you tired of looking less than fabulous during this tragic pandemic? Well, I've got news for you.
In this video, I'll show you how to make this fabulous face mask so that you can shop for your necessities before the world really does end.
Here's the pattern that I used. So the bigger part is the actual face mask, and the part between your nose and your mouth is the nose and your chin is going to be 6 inches. The width is going to be 3.75 inches, and the height from where your straps are going to be is 3.5 inches. And don't forget to add a 0.5 inch seam allowance. Now you're going to want to make 4 pieces of this. 2 will be the outer layer and will be the fabric that you want to be showing, and it can be a looser woven fabric. I used a stretchy fabric, which isn't very effective against viruses. So on the inside, you can line it with a fabric that is more tightly woven. Cotton is the fabric that I recommend using, as it's pretty tightly woven, so it'll be able to keep the viruses from being able to infiltrate the mask. And below, the long rectangles are the actual straps that'll keep the face mask attached to your head. So the first one that's going to go across the upper part of your head is going to be 13 inches, including the seam allowance, by 1.5 inches, and the other one is going to be 1.5 inches thick and 12 inches, including the seam allowance, long.
I was in the middle of cutting out my pieces when Argos decided that he should be getting some attention right now, so we had to take a little break for that. When Argos felt done getting scratched, I finished cutting out my pieces, and the top gray pieces are going to be the outside of my face mask. And for the second piece, I didn't have enough fabric, but I simply sewed 2 pieces together, and I'm going to later on cover up that seam line with some embellishments. Now, so the strips are, like I said, 1.5 inches thick, and later on we're going to fold it in half, so it'll end up being 3/4 inches in width. And the bottom 2 pieces, the bright green ones, are going to be the lining for the face mask, so that there is extra coverage. And there's extra protection against viruses like COVID-19.
Making sure that your top layer face mask is the outside is facing in, you're going to want to put your other layer on top of it, like so. And then you're going to want to sew along here. Even though I'm using stretchy fabric, I'm using the straight stitch because it's not going to be able to stretch when connect with the lining fabric, so that's not stretchy fabric.
The stitches look a little ratchety because I had a little trouble with my sewing machine, but when you just open it up after, and here it's going to have a sort of something like poking out a little bit, so that will go where your nose is going to be. And I went ahead and did the same thing with my lining, and see, here it is flipped inside out. So not looking at all the spots and stains, just looks so beautiful because I messed up a bit. You can, it's optional, but you can embellish your face mask. I chose, because of these lovely spots here, to put a lace over the whole thing, And it's just something to spice up your quarantine and to, look fabulous during these dark, depressing days. So the next step is to take your strips of fabric here, and you're going to want to fold it in half and sew along this bottom part here, and do the same with your second strip. So I've sewn my strips here, and now you're just going to attach a safety pin to like this, and you're just going to turn the little tubes inside out. So here we have this nice tube that looks very clean and finished. And something that I forgot to mention before is that I chose a zigzag stitch because this is a stretchy fabric and it's going to be stretching at the back of your head. And so now you can just go ahead and flip this tube inside out as well. So to get it really nice and flat, you can iron it, but I am quite ratchet and I am very lazy, and because my iron is in the depths of God knows where, and I am not digging that out right now. So we're just going to let nature take its course and have these just be fabulous on their own. So the next step is to making sure this is the inside is facing up. You're going to fold it down and just pin that there. And then you're going to just want to do that all the way around. So here I've folded in the pieces to create a hem. And so since I am having this extra outer layer piece, I'm going to match it up with this one to fold it in. And I'm just making sure that the inside of the lace is facing the outside of the front of the face mask. So just line up the seams like this and fold it in and do that all the way around like the green. So I folded in the hem here, and so now this is the tricky part. You're going to want to take the inside of your face mask and make sure that the inside part is facing the inside of the front part, and you're going to want to line it all up and pin it to the side. You want to take your bands and make sure that you remember that the longer one is on the top, and you want to put it in between the top fabric, the outside of the fabric and the inside fabric, and hem it and pin it just like this, so it's not the seam isn't going to be visible from the outside or the inside. And then you want to do that to the bottom one too, like that, sort of. And then when you get to this side, make sure that it isn't twisted, and then you're going to do the same thing here, folding it like that, and making sure this is not twisted either. Put it underneath and pin it like this. And then when you're done with that, you're going to sew along all sides, and I'm going to use a white straight stitch because the white thread because of the white lace. And make sure that when you're sewing these, you don't accidentally sew this part, the band, to the inside. I mean, you just want to sew this part, not this part. For a tighter fit, you can twist and you can attach the strings in the back, and this will lift up the back string so it doesn't rest on your neck so awkwardly. and that'll just get tighter fit. But you are also totally welcome to just have it hang loose and it'll just be a little looser on the bottom. Here is the finished result. Here's the outside, got a nice lace finish, and the inside. So you see the green is pushed away from the edges so that it's not visible from the outside. And here are these straps to go over your head. Just remember that the longest goes up top and this one goes in the bottom. And there you go. You have a fabulous quarantine face mask that has some nice finishing to make you look fabulous in the midst of a pandemic.